Okay, so this is lesson 5, variables and expressions. And by the end of this lesson, we are going to be able to translate word phrases into algebraic expressions. So basically, we're going to be able to take words and make them into algebraic expressions. So our couple definitions here. The first one is a variable, and a variable is a commonly used term in algebra. It's a symbol which we usually use letters for. So the most common one is x, which is why I always say to you guys for multiplication, try not to use x because we use x now as a variable. Okay, the second term here is an algebraic expression, which is just a mathematical phrase that includes one or more variables. So something like 3x plus 2. Right? That's an algebraic expression. It has, first of all, no equal sign. That's what makes it an expression. So the fact that it has no equal sign makes it an expression, and it has one or more variable. It has an x in it. A numerical expression is just a mathematical phrase that includes numbers and operation symbols. So remember, our operation symbols are plus, minus, times, we use a dot, and division. Those are operation symbols. Okay. So you'll notice that we have this table right below, and I filled it all in for you to make it a little bit more efficient with the time. So we have the first symbol here would be a plus, which would just be this symbol. We have certain words that are definitely more commonly used. So you're going to see the word sum used a lot. So I would put like a star or take a highlighter and highlight it. You're going to see increase a lot. You're going to see the word perimeter. Okay, all of these words though, plus, sum, more, increase, greater, perimeter, gain, deposit, exceed, they all represent addition. So when you see those words, it means that you're adding. Now the second operation here is subtraction. And again, obviously we have more commonly used words. So the first one here would be the difference. That's definitely used a lot more than anything else. We have minus, we have how many more, we have withdraw. You're going to see less a lot. Leftover, decrease is used often. Take away, or fewer. All of these words mean subtraction. Then we have multiplication, which again, I like to use the dot for, not an x, because x usually is a variable in algebra. And we have area. When we think of area, it is multiplication, and that's definitely a star one. We have product, which is definitely one of the most commonly used ones as well. Double means that we're multiplying by 2. Times, and then of is a commonly used multiplication word. Of is used a lot with percentages, things like that. Then we have division. So divide, we use the division symbol. Remember that division can also be written as fractions, okay? Quotient is the first one. That's definitely one of the more common division words. We have half, which means we would divide by 2. Cutting something in half means dividing it by 2. Split, cut up, or shared equally. Okay, then we have equals. So for equals, these are all pretty commonly used. I'm not going to star anything here. I would star the whole section if I had to. So you'll see the words equivalent, same as, is or was for past tense, total, result, or altogether. And then for the switch words, I like to use this symbol that looks like this. And you'll see why when we start getting into the examples. But this is just telling me that I'm going to switch the order. Right? We're going to switch the order of what we're talking about. And those words are from and than. A lot of times you'll see less than, more than, right? Those kind of go together. You probably have heard those phrases previously. So this chart, okay, we're going to reference this throughout the lesson. So If you want, once you've copied it down, you can take it out of the binder and kind of keep it next to you while we work on the rest of this lesson. It's definitely going to be our reference. Okay, so let's try these. So number one, example one, has 4 parts, A, B, C, and D. These are probably our more basic ones. So it says write an algebraic expression, which again, no equal sign, for each word phrase. So for the first one, 32 more than a number. So above each term or word, right, we're going to write a symbol that represents what they're talking about. So the first thing is 32. More means plus if I flip back to my chart. Than was one of those switch words. A number n, we're just going to leave as n. So notice I wrote that switch word symbol there. I think it just is helpful to have because now it's going to tell me that when I rewrite my final answer, I'm switching the order. The n goes first plus 32. Okay, number or part B here, it says 58 less a number n. So for this one, we have 58. Less means minus a number n, so n. Notice here I don't have a switch word, so we just rewrite 58 minus n. Okay, the next one, we have 8 times means multiply a number n. So one of the big things here is you don't have to put this multiplication symbol. You can just write this as 8n and be done. But just put the number together with the letter. Okay, so quotient is definitely one of those unique words. So the words difference, and I'll write them on the side over here. So if we see the words sum, difference, product, or quotient, which is the one we see now, you have to remember that these 4 words, we have to move this symbol to the word and. So when we're looking at this example, the word quotient means to divide, right? So where we see the word and, that tells us what we're going to divide. So here's the word and we have a number n and 5. Those are the 2 things that we're going to divide. So when I'd write this out, it would be n divided by 5, or we can write it as a fraction, where we make it n divided by 5. Okay, so again, these are pretty basic, these ones. There's a lot of these in this lesson to kind of just get the grasp on what the words mean. Throughout this whole lesson, remember to refer back to that chart. Look at what the words are representing. So let's try the next one. These get a little bit more complex, but again, not that difficult. 3 more than twice a number x. So 3 is just a number. We're going to write it down. More means plus. Than is a switch word. Twice means we're going to multiply by 2 a number x. So now when I write this out, I have to look at my symbol here, and it tells me that I'm switching the order. So it would be 2x plus 3. Okay. Number or part B says 9. I'm going to change my color so that we can. So 9 less than is a switch word. The quotient, and now that's a special word that we're going to move it, 6 and x. So big thing is the switch word again. I want to make sure I switch the order. So again, I like to use division with a fraction. So if I do 6 divided by x, right? Minus 9. Okay, I could also write this as 6 divided by x minus 9, like that. Notice I had to put that quotient in parentheses to show that I'm keeping it together. And when I write it with the fraction, I can just write it as a fraction. Okay. Here we have the product, which means we're multiplying, of 4, and there's the word and, so the product is going to go here, right? And the sum, so now I have another one of those special words, so we're adding a number x and 7. So I have multiple things I kind of got to figure out here. So the sum symbol is going to be moved in between the x and the 7. And what it's telling me to do is take the product of this whole thing, this whole sum. So I want to show that I want to keep that sum together by putting it in parentheses. And I want to put that 4 on the outside. And I'm multiplying. So now notice that I don't have to put that multiplication. I can just write this as 4 parentheses x plus 7. Okay, number 3. Write a word phrase now that can be used to represent the algebraic expression. So for this, you have to understand that there's more than one correct answer. So there's more than one correct answer. So I'm just going to give one, obviously. I'm not going to give multiple. So if you came up with something else or are thinking of something else and you want to know if it's right, you can most certainly ask, just message me and ask if it would work. And I will let you know. So the first one, we have 3x. So the way I'm going to write this one is I'm going to use the word product. So I'm going to say the product of 3 and x. I'm going to keep it basic here. The product of 3 and x, which means I'm multiplying 3 and x, which is exactly what this is showing. For b, I have 10x plus 9. So I'm going to make this one a little bit more complex. So if I say 9 more than, so there's my switch word, the product of 10 and x. So 9 more means plus, there's my plus. Than is the switch word, which makes the 9 come at the end. The product, which means multiply, of 10 and x. Here, I'm going to make this one nice and basic here. If I do 2/3 times x plus 1. So again, I use something pretty simple here. I kind of wrote out what I said, 2/3 x plus 1, right? But it still works. It's acceptable. It makes sense. It represents what this is saying. Again, there is more than one correct answer here, so just message me if you're not sure if yours is going to work, and I'll let you know. Okay, the next one, a student writes the difference between 15 and the product of 5 and y to describe the expression 5y minus 15. Explain the error. So we here are going to focus on the difference between 15 and the product of 5 and y. So difference means subtract. So we are going to subtract, and it's also one of those special words, 15, and the product, which means multiply, of 5 and y. So we are going to do 15 minus 5y. So what's wrong with what he wrote to represent this? Well, first thing is it's written in the opposite way. It's reversed, right? So when they were writing their expression, they forgot a switch word. So the student forgot to include a switch word. A correct statement would have to say 15 less than the product of 5 and y. A statement like that would work because now I'm switching the order and I'm still subtracting. So this would work. So again, just make sure you're writing this down. If it goes too fast, pause the video, copy it down. This way you have it on your binders. Okay, number 5. So now this is just continuous practice. So it says write an algebraic expression for each word phrase below. So it says a number b divided by 36. So again, remember, you could leave it just like that, or you could write this, and I like to write it like this, b divided by 36 as a fraction. Okay, the next one is 66 subtracted from is a switch word, a number p. So when we finally rewrite this, it would be p minus 66. Okay, the next one says the quotient, which means divide. And again, we're going to move it to where we see the word and, of 29 and a number h. So again, we could write this two ways. We could do 29 divided by h. Or we could write it as a fraction, 29 divided by h. Okay. D says a number n plus 49. And there's nothing I need to change there, so that's the answer. Okay, so again, these are pretty basic, these practice ones. So what I would do at this point is pause the video and try the next 4. Try example 6 and then start it back up and watch and see if you got the right answers. Okay, so if you tried them, obviously at this point, check your work. Or if you're still struggling, just watch me do them. So the difference means to subtract between 18 and a number m. So I'm doing 18 minus m. B says a number k added to 28. So k added to 28. C says 98 more means to add. Than is a switch word. A number D. So here, because we have that switch word symbol, we need to rewrite this as D plus 98. D says a number Y increased by 86. So here we have Y increased means add, and then 86. Okay, example 7. Same thing. Again, pause the video, try it, check your work, see if you're getting them correct. So example 7 says a number Q decreased means to subtract 85. The difference, which means to subtract between a number F and 2. So F minus 2. C, the quotient of a number T and 37. So here I like to write these as fractions. So this would be T divided by 37. D, a number S minus 82. So S minus 82. And again, throughout this whole lesson, you could pause. If you were in class, I'd have you flipping back and forth in your book so you could check to see what the answers would be. Okay, so now you're on your practice problems. So again, here, pause the video, try them. This is how you're going to learn, is kind of that productive struggle where you're going to try. Maybe you get something wrong, that's okay, but you just have to keep working. So there are 200 people interested in playing in a basketball league. The leaders of the league are going to divide all of the people into n teams. Write an algebraic expression that represents the number of players on each team. So here you're going to take your total people and divide it into the team. So divide by the number of teams, which would be n. And this expression would give you the amount of people on each team. Number 2, what is an algebraic expression for the word phrase 10? More means plus. Than is a switch word. A number f. So now if I switch, it would be f plus 10, which is choice D. Three says which expression gives the value in dollars of D dimes? Well, they're telling you that you're dealing with dimes. A dime is worth 10 cents, and you have D of them. So that would be A. Number 4, a student writes 5y times 3 to model the relationship, the sum of 5y and 3. Explain the error. So the word sum does not mean multiply, right? That's the error. The word sum means to add. So the error is the word sum means to add. So the expression should be 5y plus 3. And that would represent sum because, again, sum means add. Okay, the last one, Jake is trying to mail a package to his grandmother. He already has S stamps, so they're telling you to use S for stamps. The postal worker tells him that he needs 3 more. Than is a switch word. Double, which means 2, the number of stamps, which we know is S. Write out an expression that represents the number of stamps. So now we just have to switch them. So 2S means double the stamps plus 3 would represent the relationship. Okay, guys, so that's the end of the lesson. Please make sure you wrote everything down. If not, the copy of notes will be posted, and you guys can always get the copy from there. And please rewatch whatever you don't understand still, and email me if you have any questions.